An awful lot of crime and violence going on right now. We try to highlight it, not for ghoulish reasons, but because we think it's important you know what's actually happening. This one's particularly horrifying. The killing of a 5-year-old boy shocked North Carolina, not getting a lot of national news coverage. Rick Leventhal has that story for us tonight. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Tucker, this wasn't a kid caught in the crossfire, a victim of some random drive-by. This was a little boy playing on his bicycle with his 7- and 8-year-old sisters nearby, shot point blank in the head. Funeral services are being held this hour in Wilson, North Carolina for 5-year-old Cannon Hinnant, who was supposed to start kindergarten this week. Witnesses say Cannon was playing on his bike in front of his dad's house Sunday afternoon when a man walked up, put a gun to his head, and pulled the trigger. Arriving officers and EMS attempted life-saving efforts and took the boy to the hospital, but Cannon could not be saved. The suspect, 25-year-old Darius Sessoms, was arrested Monday and charged with first-degree murder. He lived next door and reportedly may have been angered because Cannon rode his bike on Sessoms' lawn earlier in the day. Cannon's mom wrote on Facebook, "My baby didn't see color. My baby made sure you knew he loved you, even if he only knew you 5 minutes. I don't care what damn color you were." And his grandmother asked, "When are we going to write Children's Lives Matter on Hollywood Boulevard?" Sessoms, who neighbors say had dinner with Cannon's father the night before the shooting, has a criminal record with firearms and drug convictions. Cannon's mom says she hopes Sessoms rots in hell. Tucker.
Boy, what a depraved story. Rick Leventhal, thanks so much.
Sure.
And we continue following the breaking news right now at 5. The death penalty now possible for the man who shot and killed a 5-year-old boy in a local neighborhood. Thanks for joining us tonight live from downtown Raleigh. I'm Steve Daniels.
And I'm Amber Repentant for Lauren Johnson. This is a case that we have been following in Wilson County for the past 2 years. Cindy Bay is joining us live now from the courthouse there, where a judge just made a ruling this afternoon. Cindy?
Yeah, and the court finds that the state can proceed after presenting what they say is sufficient evidence to make this a capital case where, if convicted, Sessoms could face the death penalty. And we were not allowed to have video cameras in court, but still photos were allowed, the photos offering a glimpse of what was a tense and emotional hearing for the Hinnant family.
More than a dozen of Cannon Hinnant's family walking up the Wilson County Courthouse steps Thursday in silence. The family of a 5-year-old boy who was shot and killed in August 2020, hearing how it happened, again in court. An eyewitness testifying how they saw Darius Sessoms shoot Cannon Hinnant in his driveway. It was in this chair where the witness, a neighbor who lived across Hinnant's father, sat, saying how Cannon was holding onto his bicycle when Sessoms, who lived next door, ran up to him in the family's front yard and shot him in the head. Hinnant's mother crying while listening as the witness says Cannon dropped and Sessoms ran away. The defense arguing that this would not be considered capital if the shooting victim was an adult, saying this case is not especially cruel or heinous, and claiming the age of the victim is the only evidence prosecutors have in pursuing the death penalty. But the testimony, plus other evidence, including body cam video, was cited as sufficient evidence by the court for the state to proceed this case as a capital case, which, if found guilty, Sessoms could face the death penalty.
And both families who were in attendance today left without speaking to the media. And we heard that the capital case is scheduled sometime in December, but we're working to confirm an exact date. Reporting in Wilson County, Cindy Bay, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
And an arrest in the case of a 29-year-old woman who was stabbed to death while hiking in broad daylight on an isolated trail. She was alone when she was attacked from behind. And this is a warning for all women to be on guard. Amber Cogliano with more on how to stay safe.
There's an arrest in the shocking stabbing murder of a young hiker that has a lot of women on edge across the USA. 22-year-old Zion Teasley was taken into custody at his home in Phoenix, just a mile from where the murder took place. Police say 29-year-old Lauren Heike was stabbed 15 times and that she tried in vain to escape her killer. This was the grainy video that led to the arrest, showing a man running from the murder scene where her body was found. Lauren worked at a local golf club and liked to post lip-syncing videos on TikTok.
Never take it seriously, you never get hurt.
We spoke to her devastated parents, Jeff and Alana.
She was my little girl. It's just going to be hard without her.
Police say Lauren was attacked from behind as she hiked on the trail.
Do you have anything suspicious going on in her life, a person or anybody who would want to harm her?
We don't know. We don't know. We've never heard of anything that would raise any suspicion.
Women getting attacked while running or hiking is happening too many times. It's reminding many people of the murder of Karina Vetrano in Queens, New York, who was murdered while jogging. Inside Edition producer Kim Pestalozzi went to the hiking trail where Lauren Heike just lost her life.
It's pretty eerie thinking that if I screamed, no one would hear me.
Inside Edition security consultant Steve Cardian says women need to take steps when they're hiking or jogging alone.
And my best advice would be, if you're going to go hiking, go with someone. In the perfect world, that would be okay. Yeah. If not, let somebody know exactly where you're going to be, when you're going to be there. Don't wear your earbuds. You're taking away your auditory sense.
No music.
No music. You won't hear somebody coming up behind you.
Now these parents are mourning the loss of their daughter gone too soon by a terrible act of violence.
This is like an emptiness you cannot imagine in your life. We had so many dreams for her.
Authorities say the suspect had a flight booked to leave Phoenix for Detroit last night, but he was arrested before he could board the plane.
Now to the latest in that alarming story of the 6-year-old Virginia boy who shot his teacher. His family is breaking their silence, speaking for the first time since the shooting. Janae Norman has the details. Good morning, Janae.
Michael, good morning. This story had so many people talking. The family now saying their heart goes out to their son's teacher and that she selflessly served her students and thanking her for her courage, grace, and sacrifice. They say their family has been committed to responsible gun ownership and keeping firearms out of the reach of children. So there are so many questions that remain over how that gun got into the hands of a child.
This morning, regret for the family of the first grader accused of shooting his teacher.
Female victim, she's been shot in the abdomen as well as a through and through into the hand.
The nation stunned earlier this month when Newport News, Virginia police responded to Rich Neck Elementary School for a 6-year-old who'd opened fire. The family now revealing in a statement to ABC News, our son suffers from an acute disability and was under a care plan at the school that included his mother or father attending school with him and accompanying him to class every day. The week of the shooting was the first week when we were not in class with him. We will regret our absence on this day for the rest of our lives. Police say the first grader took his mother's legally purchased 9mm handgun from home and fired one round at 25-year-old Abigail Zwerner as she taught the elementary students.
It felt like something out of a really bad nightmare.
Desiree Yvette's daughter was one of the more than a dozen children in that classroom.
She's scared because Ms. Warner is her favorite girl. She would always say it, and for her to get shot, my daughter doesn't know anymore, like, who's safe, and she's scared that the people she loves will get hurt.
The family telling ABC News they have been cooperating with local and federal law enforcement, adding that the firearm our son accessed was secured. Police still investigating how the 6-year-old got a hold of the gun, and questions mounting after school leaders told parents they got a tip that the student had a weapon, even searched his backpack, but didn't find the firearm before Zwerner was shot. Terrified parents and faculty members voiced frustrations at a recent school board meeting.
I send my kids to school and find myself praying to God that they will return home safely.
Our students do not wonder if there will be another school shooting. They wonder when and where the next shooting will be.
And we've heard the teachers back home recovering. But guys, it is the issue of the school being tipped off about that student possibly having a weapon, even searching his backpack and not finding it, that really has parents there so upset, even calling for the superintendent to resign, guys.
All right, Janae Norman for us. So many questions still in that case.
Still bruised and still in disbelief, an Anne Arundel County mom recovers after she says teens jumped her inside a McDonald's in front of her kids. And tonight she speaks only to WJZ. WJZ is live. Kimberly Eaton has the woman's terrifying encounter inside that restaurant. Kimberly.
And Lynn, she says she didn't see it coming. The victim, now covered in bruises, thinks the teens were out looking for a fight and she just became the unsuspecting target.
Black eye, a busted lip, that's kind of going away. I have bruising under my chin.
From head to hips, Lindsay Green is covered in the black and blue evidence of a violent crime.
You can actually see where they were stomping me on both sides.
Bruises where teenagers landed kicks and punches during an unprovoked attack inside this Glen Burnie McDonald's last Saturday night. Now the focus of a full-blown police investigation.
One person thought the other cut in front of them, and it just escalated from there.
A picture posted to Snapchat shows Green inside the restaurant. In the moments after, she says an adult woman accused her of cutting in line. Then it came to blows.
So as she's yelling at me, coming at me, the one girl comes up beside me and just punches me, and it literally escalated that quick, that fast.
A sucker punch, then a full beatdown.
All these feet, feel all these fists. I mean, it wasn't like one child, it was a group of them.
Well, her 6- and 7-year-old children watched before other customers lifted both kids over the counter out of the fray. Green says it was so crowded inside that she had no chance of just walking away. She says it was even difficult for police to get in and stop the attack.
The investigation is certainly ongoing with regard to other individuals who may be involved.
One teen already charged, but how and why Green became the target, she still doesn't know.
They were obviously looking for some kind of trouble.
And we're told that police are reviewing surveillance video of the attack and searching for as many as 3 other teens involved in the assault. Reporting live tonight, I'm Kimberly Eaton, WJZ Eyewitness News.
Kimberly, thank you. One teenager was charged with assault as a juvenile. Green also says a 12-year-old stole her phone during the fight, but that since has been returned.
You've seen this video. It's all over the internet.
And tonight we find out what went through this cashier's mind when a robber put that gun right to his head.
Then he says, he cusses at me, says, open up the drawer.
First to speak to that Jimmy John's employee, 41 Action News reporter Lexi Suter.
Yeah, he seemed so calm and collected in that video. She got a play-by-play of what really happened.
Millions of people watched the video online, and tonight I talked with the man who works behind the counter here at Jimmy John's, who kept his cool somehow while looking straight into the barrel of a gun.
Walks in, orders a sandwich, asks me what type of cheese we have. And
Tucker Murray helped this customer just as he would any other until he pulled a gun.
he whispers to me quietly, open up the drawer. And I don't do anything. And then he says, he cusses at me, says, open up the drawer.
The whole crime caught clearly on video, and Murray staying calm, looking the suspect Terry Rayford straight in the eyes, ultimately complying with Rayford's request for the cash.
My manager behind me was telling me to give him money.
Rayford first told detectives he considered robbing a McDonald's or a Quick Trip nearby, but ultimately chose Jimmy John's because he felt like the lighting here was dimmer. Court documents say he allegedly did this to pay his drug dealer. The viral video difficult for Murray's mother, Bonnie, to watch.
When he touched that gun on my son's face, it was pretty much, I have been not the same since.
Feeling thankful, but now aware, Murray will be back behind the counter tomorrow.
He did catch me a little off guard, but it's usually something that I'm prepared for, I guess.
Rayford is a prior convicted felon. He was charged today in federal court for possessing a gun. Reporting in Kansas City, Lexi Suter, 41 Action News.
It's just one shocking moment in this roughly 60-second cell phone video. A 12-year-old boy smacked in the face and held by his mouth by another classmate on board a school bus from Walt Whitman Middle School. After a brief back and forth, she grabs him by the neck, not once, but twice.
Hey, what I tell you about change those seats?
It breaks my heart that there's all these kids on the bus and not one of them decided to stand up.
Taylor Brock says her son returned home with bruises around his neck. It's unclear exactly what happened right before the recording, but she claims that same girl bullied him in the past, leaving her son depressed and embarrassed.
I want there to be harsher punishments, so kids don't even want to do this in the first place.
This mother says the incident happened in late January, but just shared it publicly Monday. Concerned school officials are not doing enough to protect her son, despite a judge granting a protective order against the girl earlier this month.
Saying she's not allowed to come within 50 feet of him. And my son is like, yeah, I saw her pass by me in the hall today. This isn't something that's going to go away for him. And she just gets to get suspended and gets to go back to school. Like, that doesn't seem like a fair trade.
I reached out to Fairfax County Public Schools. A spokesperson says school administration handled the situation in line with the student discipline manual, but at this hour cannot provide any more information due to federal privacy laws. Brock wants the school to do a better job keeping the two separated, but she also wants preventative measures in place,
to where they are able to cope and deal with anger or stress. I'm hoping by bringing this to light that people will stand up for him and for other kids who are going through the same thing in the school.
Matthew Torres, WUSA 9.
The woman who lost her job trying to stop shoplifters got her job back at Lowe's. She was fired last week because that was a violation of company policy. WSAV's Eden Hodgins joining us now with what we've learned about the company's change of heart.
Donna Hansborough has been with the Lowe's in Rankin for more than a decade. She talked to WSAV last week about why she did what she did. Now, for the first time, we're seeing surveillance video of the incident.
I really wasn't expecting to be fired because I really loved that job, and I did it to my best.
Donna Hansborough went home from work on July 25th with bruises across her face. In this surveillance video, you can see the 3 suspected shoplifters run out to a black truck waiting, ready for a clean getaway. Hansborough runs after them.
I had a hold of the cart. He told me to let go. I just held onto the cart, and then he hit me. Turned around, he hit me again, and then one more time. I just wanted to get our merchandise. I was just tired of people walking out. I've been at that store for 13 years. It seems like a big family is part of my stuff, and I just lost it.
Since WSAV spoke with Hansborough last week, Lowe's corporate offices contacted her to give her back her job, saying in a statement to WSAV, products can be replaced, people cannot. Over the weekend, a GoFundMe set up for Hansborough raised $25,000 to go toward any expenses she would face while being unemployed. Yeah, we reached out to Hansborough for comment. We didn't receive an answer. According to a Facebook post made by someone claiming to be her husband, the only condition of her reinstatement is that she does not talk to any more news media. Eden Hodges, WSAD News 3, on your side.
The way Kevin Davis described the death of his mother, Kimberly Hill, is almost as horrific as what he did to her. He told detectives he strangled, hammered, and raped her, and he did it in a matter-of-fact way, at no time showing any emotion or remorse. Davis said just before the murder at the Windrush Apartments in March, he had wanted to kill himself because he was bored.
I'm bored with life. I don't like life. I don't like people. I don't like living, basically. There's really not anything depressing about it.
Davis also told police that he intended to kill his sister too, but changed his mind.
I decided against it because, well, I had my fill of killing. I didn't see a little much.
The medical examiner confirmed today that the victim's injuries were consistent with every part of Davis's story.
There was about 18 lacerations about the head, scattered about the surface of the head.
At the scene, police also found several notes from Davis, and one said, "Chase me." Davis told police that after the rape and murder, he was feeling playful.
I was in a very playful mood at the time. I just wanted to run. Just wanted to see how far I could get.
And tonight, a special Hannity investigation into a very new and dangerous and disturbing trend that is happening in several states across the U.S. The, quote, knockout game involves groups of young men targeting random strangers on the street. Now, in most cases, one of the teens decides to attack a passerby, usually with a punch, and to show that he can knock down the victim with ease. Now, New York authorities are now saying that a recent series of attacks seems to be targeting Jewish residents specifically, and they're considering prosecuting the assaults as hate crimes. And while the so-called game has caused severe injuries and deaths in some cities, the young men involved reportedly just do it, quote, for the fun of it. Pretty sick, pretty disturbing. Here with reaction, former NYPD Detective Bo Dietl, criminal defense attorney Remy Spencer. Years ago in Times Square, correct me, Bo, if I'm wrong, they were literally, the gangs were initiating people by going up to strangers and slicing their faces, right?
That was the Bloods and the Crips were involved with that. Also, there was, if you had to go shoot somebody. But this thing, again, it's being suppressed by the news media. The liberal news media doesn't want to say exactly what it is. It's gangs of black youths attacking whites. It's called polar bear hunting. It's called Jews being targeted, and that's exactly what it is.
You think it's race and religion? I'm asking.
Absolutely, it's a race-based thing. It's the black youths against a white individual. Not even just a man. It's against women, defenseless people, and they hit them in the face and they try to knock them out. People have been killed. My problem is they got to take this crime and they got to categorize it the way it's supposed to be categorized.
And you're saying it's a racial, religious hate crime. And by the way, they're doing this and then they videotape it and they're even putting it online.
It's black on white crime. That's racist.
I agree. I agree with Bo completely. You know, I'm embarrassed to say that I was not familiar with knockout game as a term. Obviously, we remember the gang initiations you were talking about, the stupid, mindless crime. But this is groups of primarily African-American young men who are targeting an individual based on the color of their skin, primarily white people, females, as Bo said, or as it was reported today in New York, Jewish people. And the goal, the point of the game is to knock somebody down with one punch. Yeah. People have been killed. They will be prosecuted.
So they're giving it their best shot. And by the way, for those that may say, well, how are they targeting Jews? There are a lot of Orthodox Jewish people in New York.
But defenseless, also the females, white males are being attacked by black gangs. Let's say it like it is. People want to clear it up. There's no clearing it up. That's something that you're
saying it's underreported. You're saying we're not hearing what the real story is.
I agree. I agree with that because I think people in today's society are too politically correct and afraid to talk about violence from black people on white people. But if you reverse it, we look at the George Zimmerman trial. That got national attention, not just because a young man died, but because of the race issue. I think media outlets are afraid of reporting this kind of crime.
People have to protect themselves. The news media should let people know this is going on. You see a gang of young blacks coming. Here we go, the stereotypes, all the anti-racial stuff comes out. If you see a gang of kids walking by, be careful. Put your guard up. Let people know you're attacking.
You're saying that they're targeting people that
for the color of their
skin. Are they hitting children too, as well as women?
And men.
And you know what? We're not speculating here. We're not guessing. They're posting these things on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube. In one that I reviewed before coming on your show tonight, one of the black young men who did this, his caption was, "That white girl bleed a lot." There has been a book published with that title talking about this kind of knockout game. So we know that the evidence is there, and it's up to law enforcement to prosecute them for this serious crime.
Remember when we had the chain snatchers and all that? What I'm afraid of, this thing's getting into its own life. Everybody thinks it's, quote, a game and it's cool, and they post it on the internet. You know what? People have to know what's going on. The police department have to categorize it as what it is. It's attacks by young black youths against Caucasians.
We have the ability to trace where every one of those videos was posted from. They ought to investigate every one of them.
Absolutely. And the detectives, you know, I mean, these kids are really silly in the sense that they're videotaping themselves. They're stupid, but people have to be careful and be aware. Don't be sucker punched like that.
All right, guys, good to see you both.